Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 271. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Ooh. First weekend out the way.
Opening weekend.
I don't like opening day weekend.
Opening day, that's not a real thing. I just made that up. Opening weekend in the books.
Opening weekend month.
Opening weekend month, that's a real thing. We're still currently in opening weekend month. In the books, I got a lot of takes. It's going to be a lot of word vomit, like I mentioned to you before we hopped on. I really have no structure for this particular episode because there's just, like you said, there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
It's inevitable that we'll probably miss an item or two, but we're going to do our best. But before we get to those takes, just wanted to remind the people who haven't seen the news, our episodes are now going to be on YouTube.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
YouTube. That feels weird. Now it almost feels like we have a separate audience now.
I know. I can't pick my nose anymore, which is just the worst.
Just a real shame.
Yeah. Burping. We always try to hide our burps and our yawns.
Yeah, we gotta.
That's impossible now.
We gotta really clean it up here. Well, mostly you. No, I do too. I'm kind of a mess.
We gotta time our meals better. Anytime we eat right before or don't eat,
big mistake.
Stomach sounds through the roof.
Huge. So yeah, go ahead and head on over to YouTube. Subscribe if you're not already. And you will have the choice now, either audio, if you want to just listen on the go, or if you got some time, you're sitting at your desk, doing your work, working remote, who knows what you're up to for work. Pull us up on YouTube. Watch the full episode there. So
hit the subscribe button. Let's get that rolling.
Yeah, hit the subscribe. Smash the subscribe button.
Beep.
And follow along with us on YouTube. Nate, any initial takeaways from opening weekend that you just want to get out there?
It felt so good. What I will say, I understand the split, like the Thursday-Friday split. Like if you play on Thursday, you're not playing on Friday. In case you don't play Thursday, you will play on Friday. For me, opening day, it's just like, you know this. Our teams didn't play on Thursday, so like opening day was cool, but I wasn't like, it didn't fully feel like Christmas Day. And even then, like there were just, the morning games didn't really get me going at all. I think we had like Royals, Guardians, and then the Cubs game, and I was just like I'll throw it on, but I'm not glued to it. And then once Friday hit, boom, I was in it.
Yeah, those early games on Thursday, it turned on more as an obligation as a baseball fan and podcaster. I just felt like I needed to have it on. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. I had zero interest in either of those games. Although I will say that, which we'll get into a little bit, but that Royals game, I had that on. I wanted to see our guy Bobby Witt.
I wanted to see that for sure.
And people are wondering, like, why do you keep saying our guy Bobby Witt? Just scroll back through the episodes, way back. We had Bobby Witt when he was...
Before you knew who Bobby Witt was.
Before anybody knew who Bobby Witt was, we had him on...
That was during COVID.
Was it during COVID? I thought it was even before that.
I thought it was during COVID. We were on a tear. We were on a hot streak with interviews during COVID.
We were just raking them in. I could have sworn that was before COVID because I thought it would have been shortly after the draft.
I don't know. Feels like it felt like a COVID thing.
Yeah, anyway, all that to say, we had him on his interview. But yeah, had that game on, wanted to check his debut out. Which kind of transitions to one of my big takeaways from this weekend, and that it was so good to be able to see these young guys get their moment right out of the gate.
Yeah.
It just feels right seeing these guys start the year with all the festivities going on and to get their time to shine right out of the gate.
Well, I was thinking that, like, not only for the young guys, but also I was also thinking for, like, you know, new faces or same faces, new places kind of guys, like just getting their stuff out of the way, you know, like, you know, KB had his first hit. Freddie Freeman had his first hit. Seiya Suzuki had his first home run. And then you had the boys, you know, like you said, Pena doing his thing. So, like, we had names that are like, that like got to be out there and do their thing a little bit. Donaldson had his, you know, first Yankee moment. So it was like a lot of that kind of stuff happened, which was like almost like a blessing that the pitching isn't quite ready, that we're seeing all these offensive guys get to do their thing. But then at the same time, we had like some, you know, young arms that showed off a little bit too in new places. So I don't know. It was just like, this weekend scratched a lot of itches for me. It was good.
It really did.
It was good.
Yeah. And I want to say we've touched on this before, but for these guys making their debuts, and there was a lot, like I just typed into Twitter, I was like MLB debut. And you've got your Bobby Witt and your Spencer Torkelson and guys like that.
Yeah.
But you're seeing names pop up where it's like such and such making his major league debut, and then it shows a clip of his family in the stands and stuff like that. Just names that you're not going to hear about unless you're a fan of that team watching the broadcast or even at the game. But it's refreshing to see these guys be able to do that with fans in the stands. And again, like some Tuesday game in June where nobody cares. Some of these teams, believe it or not, at that point are already out of playoff contention. It's nice to be able to see these kids get that right off the jump.
Well, and that's what this agreement did. I think it's starting to minimize the manipulation of service time. So, which is good. We're starting to see these guys right away, and I like that, man. Bring them up, let them get going. Why not?
And you can't tell me that that's not good for baseball. It's not good for business. Look at just take Bobby Witt as an example. Look at the buzz that was around that Royals team right out of the gate. Where I mean, they've got some things in the mix where they're going to be exciting potentially, whether it be this season or in the very near future. But that's just another added level when you got a guy that you've been waiting to debut, and he makes his debut.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the money or whatever it is behind it, but that's just, I don't know. To me, it just seems like it's a no-brainer. But all that to say,
I didn't ask you about this. I wasn't sure if I didn't even think about bringing this up or not, because you weren't able to really watch it. First K-Rod experience happened last night between Michael K and A-Rod, the little ESPN2 broadcast.
Well, that was one of my other. I had a few takeaways here right off the top, and one of them was about how I just hate in-game interviews. Still, like they're the worst thing ever. But it's
talking the Kike one.
Yes, just the worst. Stop.
So that was
with
ESPN 1.
Yeah. So tell me about this ESPN 2, because
your boy was weird.
Your boy was in his Sunday League game, and so I was watching the game on mute in the dugout for my Sunday League game.
So here's what's weird about it, that it took me a while to figure this out, but they're going to have the same video coverage. ESPN 1 and ESPN 2 are going to have the same video coverage. So I'm watching the K-Rod broadcast, and I'll be 100% transparent with you. I don't like A-Rod. I can't stand hearing him talk. He's always bugged me. I have a disdain for him for his playing days as well. So, like, I don't like that. The only reason, full transparency, the only reason I watched, and I told Paige this too, I was like, this is brand new, that baseball's trying to do this year, and, like, bear with me, but I have to watch it for the podcast. This is the only reason, was to talk about it today. The only reason I watch it. I probably won't watch it again, and that tells you what I thought about it. But they have the same video broadcasting going on for both ESPN and 1 and 2. So you're watching ESPN2 for this K-Rod commentary, and they're sitting in like this little studio next to each other, and you can clearly see it's like a made-up, like looking living room office man cave thing, and they're talking, and very awkward the whole time.
So wait, so you're saying, because like I said, I wasn't able to catch a second of it. So
yeah,
they're in the same room together, is what you're saying?
They're in the same room together. They're sitting right next to each other. I mean, right off the bat, inning 1, A-Rod like messed up his mic that's like clipped to his little collar and his sweater, and he like knocked it, and then he at one point he's like holding a microphone. I was like, okay, we're off to a horrible start, behind the scenes wise. You and I both pay attention to that kind of stuff. I don't know if other people do, but that bugged me. But then throughout the game, they're showing like replays or, camera footage of, for example, Kike when he was being interviewed. And I'm like, why is it all over Kike? Why do we keep watching Kike? Because you're not hearing him. You're only hearing Michael K and A-Rod.
That's weird.
And then randomly you'll see like a replay of Kike like fouling a ball off. And I'm like, what is happening? It's like 2 innings later. So confusing. Not good that way to have the coverage for both. The interviews were kind of cool, and I can see why Michael K has been chosen to do the interview segment part of it. Like, that's why he was chosen for this, I think, because, he does that center stage stuff. He's got a radio show. So, like, he clearly knows how to interview people. It was just weird. It was just uncomfortable. They brought on Poppy. They brought on Roger Clemens. They brought on the president of the Negro Leagues Museum. Guys like that. They brought on Jeff Passan. So it was okay. It was just awkward. The whole time it was awkward. I didn't like it at all. Like, I felt like that style should be like the Mannings did in football, like more casual, more like, I would say, for the advanced fan. You know what I'm saying? Like the way Eli is talking about a zone coverage, and we're going to watch the safety slide up here, and then we're going to have a poster out with the receiver go underneath. Like that kind of stuff. I want that talk during this. But it's clear that Michael K can't be the one to do that. And it's clear that A-Rod is always getting hate when he does it. So I'm like, why did you choose these two guys? These are the not a good fit. And I love Michael K on a regular broadcast. When I watch a Yankees game, I prefer to listen to him. And he's typically up there with like David Cohn, guys like that. It works. He's good with the play-by-play. He is not good with this like laid back, weird style where they hardly talk about the game at all. It's very strange.
Well, I mean, you'd probably be able to speak better to it, but I'm curious as to how much, if any, work that those two individuals had done together prior to this experiment, because as you and I know, you can't just create.
Probably just when he was a player. And
that's what I'm thinking.
Questions. Yeah.
You can't just create chemistry out of thin air. Like, you have to have some sort of, I don't know. I mean, the NFL lucked out because you get two just genuinely funny guys. Like, take the football out of it. Take the job Mannings responsibility out of it. Yeah, I mean, they're just like genuinely funny people.
But give me, I don't know if it was ever an option or thought out, but like, give me Poppy and A-Rod. I would prefer that. And then let's just go full on player mode. Let's just talk player style, player type thinking, player analysis. I thought that was the whole point of it. And for it to be like an advanced broadcast, I want to learn something from this. I don't want to be a little kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is for us. This is for the male, like, adult, typically kind of category. Like, that's who they're targeting, right? The 20s, the 30s, those kind of guys that watch baseball all the time. It didn't hit with us. And they even had a segment where they were reading off mean tweets. It was so awkward, dude. They actually brought up tweets There was like 5 or 6 tweets that they read off. There was like, I'd rather jump headfirst into a bathtub with a toaster than to watch any more of this.
Oh my God.
And they literally read it off and were just awkwardly laughing.
ESPN,
it was so weird.
ESPN cannot get out of its own way. It baffles me how frequently they just take a decision and they almost exclusively go with the wrong choice.
Yeah, and then like Karl Ravech was the one on the ESPN one that you had on mute, and like Karl Ravech is okay. I liked him with like Baseball Tonight as like a host. I don't want him for play-by-play commentary. I don't need to listen to it again, and I feel like it just started off on a bad foot.
Well, I may have to tune in for the next one just to validate all of the things we're talking about. And to get my first official taste of it.
What I can say is David Cohn on ESPN 1, he was with Karl Ravech.
Right.
David Cohn's solid. David Cohn is really good.
Yeah. I only missed the first few innings. I was able to watch them, but in terms of audio, wasn't listening to it in the dugout when I was playing in my Sunday League game. But got the audio on the way home, and then when I got home, got the rest of the game. And for all intents and purposes, it sounded fine. Like, I'm not a big, what is that guy's name? Eduardo Perez. Yeah, I
don't like it.
Not a big fan of his.
It's kind of corny.
Yeah, Cohn's kind of new to me. So, from what I've heard, he's pretty solid. From what you've told me, he's pretty solid. But I still have to get some more of Cohn. But, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to actively seek out an ESPN baseball broadcast, but again, if it's literally the only thing that we have, then I'll probably just end up watching on mute. But I don't know. All I have to say, in-game interviews are terrible. ESPN's terrible. I hate that this is being forced upon us, but all I have to say.
Also, without the cancellations, by the way, and the season pushback because of the lockout, they wouldn't have lined it up that way. The first Sunday night game would have been Yankees-Red Sox.
Right.
That immediately put ESPN in the hole because there's so many people that know that K and A-Rod are going to be pro-Yankees and bias. So it's like immediately started off on the wrong foot, and it didn't go well. I'm good. I'm out. Not good.
I'm also out, but I just want to. I'll probably watch the next one.
You have to now. You have to get your experience with it.
Yeah, just so I can back up my opinion. Like I said, there's like I feel like there's 1,000 things that happened this weekend. What are some of the things? Well, let's go. Let's back up. Let's go to. If my memory serves me, before the season technically started, with the contract extensions of Jose Ramirez and Ke'Bryan Hayes. Those were both like right before the season started, correct? Because it's been since last Tuesday that we had an episode. Because last week
I think they were both, right before like announced opening day kind of thing.
So let's look at these real quick. Ke'Bryan Hayes agrees to an 8-year, $70 million contract extension with the Pirates. The extension's great. I'll just get that out there. Good for Ke'Bryan Hayes. The thing that sticks out to me, and I'm sure most people know this by now, but if you don't, this contract extension or contract in general is the largest in Pirates franchise history. $70 million.
No.
Max Scherzer is almost making that in 1 year. $70 million over 8 years. This exceeds
with an organization that has had Andrew McCutchen, that has had Garrett Cole, that has had Austin Meadows, like big names that could have gotten a paycheck a while ago.
Another big name in Pirates history, Jason Kendall, was the guy who had the previous largest contract, which was a 6-year, $60 million contract. That was in 2000.
Hey,
so it took
growth.
him.
22
growth. It took him 22 years to top
so
the mark.
Bad. It's so bad. That's where careers go to die, I think.
Or just get off to a terrible start and then they can't recover. I'm not a big financial or money guy, but the little that I know about inflation tells me that, like, even if they didn't want to, even if they were just actively seeking a way to not pay guys, I just feel like they, like, by default, you may just stumble across a contract where it's like, well, with where inflation's at, we kind of just have to pay you this. And who knows? Maybe that's what happened with this. Maybe they're just like, yeah, inflation's been in the news a lot recently. We may just have to pay you some money here. But it took them 22 years.
Yeah.
And
it's absurd.
If I'm Ke'Bryan Hayes, I mean, I was when I saw the news, I was trying to get inside his head a little bit and think, like, why would you agree? Why would you agree to something like this?
I don't care what dollar amount it is. Why would you agree to 8 years being locked in Pittsburgh?
Well, my only thought, and that's where I was kind of going with it, but my only thought is that maybe this is an individual who wants to be the guy in a particular city that maybe he likes. We don't know. Maybe he loves Pittsburgh. Who knows? I haven't heard many sound bites on him or on it from him. Maybe he just wants to be a guy in his city as opposed to just another guy elsewhere, a la LA Dodgers, San Diego Padres, whatever it may be. And not to say that he couldn't be the guy down the road, because very talented.
I think he's going to be good. He's going to be good.
Maybe that's just kind of his initial thought process. I don't really know.
Well, what was more unfortunate, and again, this was one of the early games on Thursday, I believe, right? When I turned that game on, there's like, it was like this second or third inning, dude. There's like this little bloop behind third base, and he goes back to try to make a play, and he like dives for it awkwardly, and like hurts his wrist or thumb or something like that. And then next thing you know, he was pulled out of the game, and I was like, you just signed an extension, bro. No, like, don't do this to him.
That should have been luckily a sign right there.
Yeah.
Like,
can I back out of this?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, is it too late? Out? Has the ink dried yet? Like, can we maybe try this again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a good place to be, but
I did look up some stuff on him a little bit, and 2020, he obviously, the shortened season, only played 24 games. He finished 6th in Rookie of the Year voting. And then last year he played 96 games, had 20 doubles, OPS plus of 87. So like, I don't know I don't know how we feel about that, or like how we should take it, but I mean, he's already totaled up a career WAR of 4.2, and he's pretty much just played one, not even a full season yet, total wise. He's only played 123 games. So 4.2 WAR, I mean, that's a really good season for anybody. Yeah. If we can total that up, and I'm assuming, within this next month and a half or so, he's going to get to a full 162, and that's going to tell us a little bit more about, what he can put together. But I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see. Also, full transparency, Kyle and I talked about this before. We don't know if it's Ke'Bryan or Ke'Bryan. I'll go with Ke'Bryan. You go with Ke'Bryan for now. So that's cool.
Well,
that work?
I mean, I'm never good with the names, so
I know.
Go ahead and get that out there right now. So don't hold me to any one thing or the other, because chances are I'm going to get it wrong. So
probably
full transparency. Jose Ramirez.
He's off to a hot start, by the way. He's 4 for 10 already.
Love to see that.
So that's good.
Love to see that. Jose Ramirez, 5-year, $124 million extension with the Guardians. Speaking of largest contracts in franchise history, this is their largest contract in franchise history.
He's got a full no trade clause attached to that too.
Wild. I saw a note that said We may have to credit ESPN for this. I think that's where I pulled it from. The Guardians had been one of 5 MLB teams that had never agreed to a $100 million contract with a player. The others being the Oakland Athletics, the Pirates, the Royals, and the White Sox.
Really? Wouldn't have guessed the White Sox.
Wow. Who even owns the largest contract with the White Sox?
I don't know. I mean, that's like, Mark Burley, Konerko. That's what I'm kind of thinking of that era. I would say Mark Burley. AJ Przinsky could be in that conversation.
Yasmani Grandal, it looks like.
Really?
4 years, $73.5 million.
It's the biggest contract they've ever dealt. It's wild. I think that's going to change. Times are changing up there.
What did our guy Liam sign for? I'm not saying it's anywhere near.
I thought it was a pretty short deal. I thought it was like a 2 or 3 year deal.
No, I thought it was like. Was I crazy for thinking it was 4?
You might be a little crazy.
I mean, I'm a little crazy, but I also might be right. Okay, it was 3 years, $54 million.
Also, our guy. Go back to that episode if you don't.
Our guy giving us a tour of his.
We had to kick Liam Hendricks off of the podcast. He started grabbing all his animals. There's cats in the interview.
Introducing
his wife is in the background.
She's asking questions. She's asking him questions to answer for us. It was fantastic. Yeah. I think that was during COVID.
That was great. That was so good.
Yeah, that was fantastic. But yeah, Jose Ramirez.
Fire your agent right now.
Yeah.
Fire him.
That's just
awful.
There's question marks just popping up all over my head right now. Like
awful.
Terrible.
But it totals because it's on top. It's the extension on top of the ARB years, right? So it totals to be 7 years, 150. Still very, very much underpaid for a top 3 third baseman, guaranteed every year.
Awful. Yes.
34.4 WAR
deal.
in 10 years with the Guardians. OPS plus, career OPS plus of 126, 164 home runs, 247 doubles. And it says 10 seasons. Truthfully, he barely played that first season, so we could say 9. Well, my man should be getting at least over 200, maybe over
minimum
225. I mean, he's only 29, so this will take him to 36, basically.
What even is that? That's what is that? 20? No, yeah. What is that over 5 or AAV? I mean, why is my math just awful right now? 24.8. 24.8.
Yeah. He's a $30 million player, no problem. And anyone else would pay that. And if anyone else would have traded for him, they would immediately have given probably a 5 or 6 year extension, but it would have been north of 200. If he was a Blue Jay, I know they were linked to him right before this announcement came out.
That was the thing. That was the thing. I saw the news about the Blue Jays.
That would have been weird. Too much going on.
Yeah,
relax.
Let's calm it down. Yeah. I saw that though, and I was like, okay, this just must be his camp leaking some sort of deal here.
Yeah,
just to up the price, and then it comes out.
Knowing the Guardians, it was probably like 5 years, $80 million. And they were like, wait, the Blue Jays really want him.
Let's flex the checkbook here a little bit. Let's go 124. How about that, Jose? What a joke. Terrible. What a joke of an organization.
Sucks. On top of that, by the way, I wrote down in my notes 4 times he's finished top 10 in MVP voting. 3 of those 4 times were top 3 in MVP voting.
Sounds like a 10-year, $25 million player.
That sucks, man.
That's probably what they were thinking long term for that guy.
It really sucks.
Let's give him $25 million over 10 years.
But I mean, I guess if anything, on the business side of it, I feel like that could almost. No, I mean, there's no trade. There's a full no trade clause. Never mind. Doesn't matter. He's not going anywhere. He's going to finish as a Guardian, and it sucks.
Justin, awful organization, contract situation.
I don't know
Great
how those
player,
work.
though.
I don't know how those work. Are you allowed to waive them as a player? Is it your right? Is it chosen? Your right versus team right?
For what?
You can waive your no trade clause, right?
I'm assuming that's player right.
Yeah, so I mean that means you'd have to really get contacted by like the other team first.
Yeah, I mean you always hear about it with these top tier players where
it's like a list.
Yeah, where it's like the team gets to a point, they get to this mutual understanding where it's like, all right, we've kind of made it to the end of our road. Let's look. If you're willing, we'll look to maybe ship you somewhere else.
All right, well,
okay with that. And then they're like, yeah, I'll waive the clause for this team, that team. And
all right, well then that may help my point here of the fact that on the business side of things, if there is ever a time where he's willing to waive that no trade clause, the Guardians are going to get a truckload of value in return because you're getting a potential MVP year in and year out for that price tag. Like it's just another, whipped cream right on top of the sundae to say, okay, he's Jose Ramirez, so you're going to give us the correct prospect for that, but you're also getting him for the next 7 years, right? Or the next 5 years, whatever it may be, for this price tag. You know what I'm saying? So like you got to give up everything to get him. I just don't see a team willing to do that. I mean, we're talking at least 2 out of your top 5 prospects, probably. And then, maybe some money involved. I don't know. But it's like a kind of similar to that like Arenado deal with the Rockies, right? He got the extension. Cardinals got him and then had to pitch in, the Rockies pitched in money. So like, I'm curious to see if it ever develops into anything or if he's actually just going to finish as a Guardian.
I don't see him finishing out there. He's going to...
What a waste.
He's going to retire before he finishes his contract in Cleveland. I can see that happening because I wouldn't want to play for that team. Speaking of another team I wouldn't want to play for, the Yankees, talking with Aaron Judge about a potential contract, and Aaron Judge basically gave him the finger and said, I deserve to make more than Mike Trout. So where do we stand on this contract situation, my friend?
It's odd. I mean, I understand this is the point of free agency, right? Like this is why it exists, is because players have the right to test the market, bet on themselves, and potentially earn more than whatever their offer is at the time. So this is a perfect example as to why free agency was created. But the offer was 7 years, $213.5, I think, plus the ARB year of $17 million this year. So, we're basically talking 8 years, $230. I think it's a pretty good deal. I think my first reaction is that if he really wanted to stay in New York, I don't think that number is very far off, understanding that the way they're spending now, they have to fill out the rest of the roster, right? You still have Garrett Cole and Stanton locked in for a long time. So it's like, how much money do you want, with also expecting them to still need to fill out a roster with other guys? So I thought that number was pretty good considering, playing time history and things like that. I don't know. I can't really tell. And the only reason it's that long is to get that total cost up. I think from what I've read, he wanted a higher AAV. I don't think he asked for 8 years. I think you could have given him, he's 31. You could have given him 6 years and just a giant AAV, and I think he would have been happy, but that's not how they're doing things anymore.
Like, I wasn't exaggerating. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that said he was hoping for a higher AAV than Mike Trout. Is that correct?
Yeah, there was the AAV that he was more like wanting. It wasn't necessarily like the total of, 350 plus or whatever. And then, I felt that way, and then I started looking at numbers, and I was like, oh. If you look at how things are going, he's got a right to kind of earn what he thinks is good, because
right,
he's put up numbers. He's a career 26 WAR. He's got 158 home runs. And remember, he didn't break in until 2017, so he's kind of a late bloomer.
Yeah.
He was 25 when he broke in 2017, but 158 home runs. He's got a career OPS plus of 150. Career OPS of 939. The dude can hit.
Pretty good.
Games played wise, I know this is like the biggest argument, with this whole situation. 2017, which is, again, his rookie year. He won Rookie of the Year, played 155 games, 112 the next year, 102 in 2019. 2020, basically played half the season, 28 games for that shortened year. And then last year, 148. I'm in the camp where I do think his injuries, they're not chronic. I do think they were just kind of fluke injuries. But, the argument is, that size, like, it takes a lot to get moving, takes a lot to slow down, and you're pretty heavy when you're hitting the ground. So
that's going to prove to be problematic as he gets older, without a doubt. Like,
yeah,
that size is going to.
And then at that point, if you're talking Yankee stuff, like for their roster, you're like, well, him and Stanton are going to be aging pretty much the same way. Are we going to be able to have 2 full-time DHs? At that point, I don't know. Judge can definitely play defense. We watched him in center field. You're going to see him in center field probably 30 to 40 games this year. So he can do it. He did it in college. It's just, I don't know. I'm nervous for him. And what sucks is that, like, if he does miss time this year, it's almost like a good thing for the Yankees, because now you have the rest of the league saying, too risky, not going to touch him long term. But you can bet that if he does get hurt this year, that Yankees offer is going to go way down. We're talking maybe 180.
Or maybe even like Pirates level. Maybe they give him like 50 over 10 or something.
But the dude, look, he knows how to handle the media. He's done well in New York. He's handled the pressure in New York in some ways. Fans love him. Like, he has that leverage. A couple things, I wrote down were kind of surprising. I didn't know this. He's the first Yankee to have 100 RBIs, 100 runs, and 100 walks in the same season. And he's the first MLB rookie to get 45 home runs. First, not saying the only, first rookie in Major League Baseball ever to have 45 home runs, 100 RBIs, 100 runs in a season, all going back to that rookie year. The guy can perform. We know it's there, and when it is there, it's scary. But I think, based off the games played, he's got an argument. Mike Trout's been missing a ton of games, right? He's played more than Mike Trout recently. And if he plays a full season this year, I don't think we should talk injury anymore. I really don't. I don't think we can consider him a chronically hurt player. If he plays over, 130 games this year, I'm not going to consider that. I think that argument has to go. But as a Yankees fan, I'm pretty upset, and it was a rough way to start the season. It's odd.
Yeah, truth be told, I was really hoping that soundbite would have come out, and then they just would have proceeded to be swept in 3 games over the weekend and just really gotten things off to a great start.
But the Red Sox bullpen decided to implode anyway. So.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. It's not how you start the series. It's how you finish.
You got 2 guys, by the way, that said no more contract talk during the season as well, with Xander and Devers. Once the season started, it said no.
Xander, not a surprise. Like, that's expected. He's gonna test the market, and I'm just hoping we don't need to get into details here, but I'm just hoping he sees what he has here and decides to take that route. But not a surprise that he came out and said.
It's 2 guys that I think should stay.
Very much so. Yeah,
Judge should stay a Yankee, and Xander should stay a Red Sox. It's just the way it has to go.
Yeah. If we're gonna build this quote rivalry back up, I say quote because
give me some guys to hate on. Yeah,
like, give me some, not even to hate on, just give me give me some guys that stick around, like at least for a couple years. Honestly, that's all I ask.
Yeah.
Let's see what else from this weekend. Pujols returned to St. Louis. Was it 0 for 5?
Yeah, fine. No knocks yet. I did see a little jam shot to left field that made it maybe 10 or 15 feet short of the track. Everyone got pumped for a second in St. Louis. We're
gonna have to wait for the journey to 21 for another day. Wasn't able to get it. I really wish he could have just gotten a jump start on that 21 right away. Just get the first one out of the way.
I think this is the first take that you have that I disagree with. I think I'm out on it.
It took you one game?
The farewell tour and the fact that him and his wife.
Yeah, that was messy, man. Yikes.
Yeah. And I'm not here to comment on that stuff. I'm just saying that's a lot to take in emotionally, mentally, and to play baseball. So I don't know, dude.
Were you not in when I said that?
I thought I was. I like the Miggy one, but I don't think I like. I want it to happen. Don't get me wrong.
I'm just saying, believe in something, man.
If there's one that's gonna miss, I think that's a miss.
That's fine. I mean, again, it wasn't the lukewarm take episode. I had to throw something spicy in there, and Pujols getting 21
for sure.
Who knows? We'll see.
Did you see I don't think he teared up that much. I think they said it on the broadcast that he was tearing up. But I was like, I don't see anything.
I think that was scripted. They were writing their notes, and they're like writing out what they're going to say. Well, yep, Pujols is just losing it emotionally. Meanwhile, he's just stonewalling over there. It's like, not shedding a tear. No, I think he actually did maybe a little bit, but it was not. I mean, he wasn't tears gushing down his face. Like, I mean, I'm sure it meant a lot.
I bet the last home game, he'll lose it.
Yeah, when he's going for that 21st home run of the season. Yeah, oh yeah.
When he's going for his 12th home run of the season.
When he's going for his 12th hit of the season after missing 90-plus games due to injury and just sitting on the bench.
Cement feet. That guy's just all heels.
Did you know?
His whole foot is just one big heel. Flat footed.
I saw it. I saw on his Baseball Reference page the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know, and I may have mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating if so. Did you know he is the all-time leader in ground into double plays?
What?
Yeah, like that little gold. So what they do on Baseball Reference is, like, you know how everything's like grid. So that box where it shows how it lists out how many double plays he's grounded in his career, it's gold, and that always pops whenever you go to a guy's page.
Yeah, it's all white.
It's so rare to see. Where it's like, oh, this guy who I'm looking at is an all-time leader in something, and you really only see that, at least for guys today. I mean, you're only going to see that maybe with like Miggy. I don't know if Miggy leads anything, but guys have been playing long enough where it's like, okay, maybe. Pujols is the all-time leader in ground into double plays.
That's not a good look. I mean, he's got Flintstone feet, man. He's just, it's a struggle.
I didn't realize you were going in on Albert's this episode.
Sorry.
These conversations take us to strange places. Let's see. What else here? Bobby Witt. I know we already talked about it. Bobby Witt making his debut. I don't remember if I told you, but on On Thursday, the wife had asked if I would be free to run over to Costco while she was at work, make a Costco run. And this was at like, I think the Royals game started at like 2 or 3 Eastern. And it was like 1 or 2. I basically had like an hour, and I'm like, there's no way.
No, you can't get in and out of Costco in an
No way
hour.
I go to Costco. I made it in and out of Costco, and I made it back, and the count was 0-1 to the first bat of the game. I don't know how I pulled it off. I made it work. I don't know.
You got 0 samples.
No, zeros. I don't have time for samples when Bobby Witt Jr.
If I'm going to Costco, you can best believe I'm getting some samples.
I think I ran over a few elderly women pulling into the parking lot. I was like, look, Bobby Witt's making his debut. I rolled down the window. I was like, do you understand what's at stake here? And they said, we get it. Don't worry about us. Go on without us. And I was like, thank you.
No shot. I'm getting in there and trying some off-brand frozen pizza. You best believe it, baby.
So,
oh my, this is delicious. Not buying it. Walk away.
Oh my.
What is that?
$29.99 for a pack of 6, you say? Carry on. No, Costco's great. We can talk about Costco if you want. We can get into how great Costco is.
Is this a chicken wing from Mars? Let me try that. This is delicious.
Yo, this is delicious.
You got any ranch?
They microwave that stuff. I'm like, I don't want it out of a microwave. Anyway, enough Costco talk. We can start a Costco podcast if the people want it. But all I have to say, made it back for Bobby's debut. I was a little bummed he didn't get the hit in his first AB, but his first hit was a rather meaningful clutch knock. It was an RBI double that essentially proved to be the go-ahead run for the Royals in their 3-1 win over the Guardians. So that was cool to see. Even if they don't get it in their first at bat, you love to at least see them get it that first day, because it's like, I don't want to wait to get to day 2. Doesn't hit the same.
No, and I like his swing a lot, dude. His swing's gonna play. It's so sweet from the right side. It's a really good looking swing, and honestly, the only reason he didn't run into that is just he caught it a little off the end, got a little top spin. Otherwise, I mean, if that's more barrel, that's going 10 rows up. So either way, still clutch. Little game tying RBI, I think, at the time, right? Or was it a go ahead RBI?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead RBI? Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, there's a couple other guys, like I said, a bunch of guys making their debuts this weekend. Spencer Torkelson making his. Hunter Green looked pretty good.
Looked good.
Getting a dub against the reigning champs. Love to see that. Jeremy Pena had his first career home run while they were interviewing his parents.
That was dope.
You love to see that.
That was really cool. Really cool. And I just love that, like, those parents, like, they're never, because he's just, a rookie. You don't know how long it's going to last. They're never in a good seat. You know what I mean? They're always like second or third deck, like nowhere near.
Like, is that our son?
Yeah.
Who is that?
So it's just cool because, like, I don't know. It was just a cool moment, man. And
it's always raw too. You can't script that. You can't recreate that.
No. Yeah, it was dope. And then, like, help my fantasy team out too. So that's cool.
Which was, not that we have to go down this whole rabbit hole, because it's a much more in-depth. I think it warrants a much more in-depth conversation. But it's kind of weird that I feel like the Astros they're kind of turning a page.
Less hateable
as an organization. Yeah, the more guys like this they get up that just had nothing to do with what happened. I mean, you got which we'll get into here a little bit. You got the City Connect jerseys, more things to be excited about. I don't know. I mean,
Correa being gone helps. Dusty Baker helps.
Yeah, I mean,
once Altuve is gone, I don't think Bregman has to deal with much.
Yeah, I mean, they did the introductions, and I mean, I'm sure Bregman got some too, but I think Altuve got the most noticeable, like, boos of anybody, which obviously makes sense. But like you said, I think once he's gone, Bregman, I've been saying from the jump, Bregman gets it. When he was getting pelted, he just wore it on the chin, took his base. Like he wasn't getting all up in arms about it. He gets it. So it's really kind of hard to hate him at this point, regardless who you are. But yeah,
Jordan is sick. Like I don't know why Jordan just doesn't upset me. He's just a baller, and
this was to be expected.
Destroys baseballs.
This was to be expected. It was going to come with time. Like no matter how much you hate the team, it's hard to hang on to such a hatred or disdain or bitterness for a team when it doesn't really resemble the original product that you were hating from the jump. But all that to say, like I said, I didn't want to go too deep into that, but that was one of my first thoughts when I saw the Jeremy Pena thing. I was like, this is cool. Like,
yeah,
I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for the organization to be able to experience this collectively.
But I'm happy that it also them playing the Angels, right?
Yeah,
them playing the Angels kind of helps them ease in a little bit, helps Pena ease in a little bit, you know. Like he doesn't have to immediately be in like, you know, New York just getting rained down with booze to start his career. So,
sure.
Not to say that there weren't boos in Anaheim, but still like not the same if it was a city that they really, you know, hated them.
Sure. Trying to think. Another guy, not a new guy by any stretch, but another guy, as you said, new face in a different place. Matt Olson. Dude, I think if they haven't already, I think the Braves fans are going to just forget that Freddie Freeman ever existed, honestly.
That's what I'm saying,
They
man.
love this guy.
Yeah.
Like, as they should. He's a good he is a better first baseman, and he's
better defensively, just as good offensively, and younger.
Did I see that he was, not to mention a hometown kid, did I mention, or did I see correctly, rather, that he's 8 for 14 to start the year with a home run?
Let's get it.
Let's
get it.
It's pretty good.
I feel good about my prediction. Just wait till Acuna gets back too. Woo!
What was it? What prediction in particular?
Them repeating, dude. Them taking it again. We're gonna have another ring ceremony next year with a better ring.
Well, I mean, now that you bring it up, let's just go right to that ring thing real quick, because I had a note about that. Like I said, it's just word vomit. Like, just
it's
jumping from one thing to another. Actually, no. You know what? Before we talk about the ring, how about you tell us about our friends over Big League Chew?
Got it on deck already, ready for you there, pal.
Let's hear it.
Founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson, Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouches packed with shredded, flavorful bubble gum has become the #1 shredded gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Hall of Fame bubblegum. Grab some gum and head to Big League Chew's social media channels, at Big League Chew on Twitter, at Big League Chew Gum on Instagram, to show off your Big League bubbles. You can also find a list of retailers or purchase any of their products directly from their website at bigleaguechew.com. Big League Chew.
Big League Chew. All right, let's talk about these Big League World Series rings, because my goodness.
Changed everything with rings moving forward.
I mean, there's a lot here to digest. There really is. Like, you got stuff inside the ring now. You got the pearl on the side, which not really sure why the pearl is getting so much hate. Like, these are the kinds of things that I love. Like, don't give me the cookie cutter ring. Give me the thing that's like,
it's like a part of that story that year.
And you're not going to see it again.
Yeah.
So, like, cement that in its history in the form of a World Series ring. Like,
exactly.
I was not understanding, because I saw one guy, he was commenting on the fact that, like, you're trying to honor like Hank Aaron in the same ring as a ring that has a pearl on it, and like how it's just disrespectful. And I'm like,
who cares?
It's
what are you talking about?
It's like, it's part of the franchise's story. Like, you can't change that.
Yeah.
And you're kind of downplaying the impact that Jock Peterson had. Like, I'm convinced the Braves don't win the World Series without Jock Peterson. So,
yeah,
I'm not really sure, like I said, what the hate's all about. Like I said, there's a lot to digest here. You open the top of it. Looks like there's a little illuminated first World Series ring to have LED lights in it.
Yeah, dude, they have like little scoreboard lights in there.
Yeah, that illuminates the miniature Truist Park.
Little rubies for where the home runs were hit.
Yeah, 11 rubies representing where the Braves' 11 World Series home runs were hit. They got the "We Are Those" quote on the inside where you open it.
Sick.
Yeah, it just says "We Are Those." ... I'm like, come on, go the whole. If you're gonna do it right.
Yeah.
They got 150 diamonds to honor the 150 years of the franchise history. 44 emerald cut diamonds to celebrate Braves legend Hank Aaron. 18.71 karat white gold pays homage to the year the Braves were founded in 1871. Respect, like that.
This is all just clean, dude. How can anyone hate on these? These are sick.
23 total diamonds on the side are symbolic of the 23 home runs hit during the postseason. A single pearl right in the middle of the trophy. Love that. They have 4 diamonds on the World Series trophy to represent 4 straight NL East championships. Just flex on them, Atlanta. Goodness.
Dude, these are all sick.
They got 4 the A on like the bottom of the ring where it's like on the inside part of your finger. Signifying looks like they got a date here, signifying the trade deadline where key players were added. That's pretty sweet.
See, that's huge.
They recognize how much of a
Duvall, Soler, Jock.
You don't win that World Series without
all
the trade deadline. What happened there?
Eddie Rosario, yeah, all those guys.
And then you got the player signature on there. I mean, what a flex.
Sick. Big fan. Through and through. They crushed it.
4 princess cut rubies, symbolic of the Braves' 4 World Series titles. I mean,
done well.
Unbelievable.
Done correctly.
What a
ring.
Done
correctly. Big fan.
Another note that I have here, Minnesota. Since when did Minnesota become an airfield, dude? Like, just
balls are going like
flying
halfway up the upper deck.
What is going on in Minnesota? Like, Byron Buxton hit that ball. I mean, you got to mention Byron Buxton. 3 straight ABs with a home run. Got to love to see that. Oof. But he hit that one. I don't remember which one it was, but one of those was in the upper deck by a safe margin.
Yeah, like a good chunk of rows up there.
And then Correa's first is a twin. Like, say what you will about him. That was a nuke. Gary Sanchez got a hold of one. I just don't understand what happened up there in Minnesota. I didn't.
Did you see that Gary Sanchez opening day bat flip that he thought?
Yeah, how about that? Like a little flex on him, and then it's like, oh, oops.
I was dead, dude.
Dude, that organization is garbage.
I hate to say it, but I was really rooting for that ball to not go out. And the fact that
bunch
he bat
of
flipped
frauds, dude.
I was like, oh, that beard does not hide anything from you. I just know exactly who you are, Gary.
Gary said, Kyle thinks we're going to finish in 4th place. Let me just flex on him real quick. Yikes. Warning track. Game over.
So glad that happened. That was awesome.
Speaking of 4th place, again, we're just bouncing all over the place here. Let's look at the standings, shall we? The Rays, you were slamming the Rays before we hopped on.
It's ridiculous that they're starting their season off of with the Orioles and the A's. They now have a 4-game set starting with the A's today. Are you kidding me?
Well, to be fair, we've already mentioned that it wouldn't start that way if we didn't have the canceled games. So
don't care. This is ridiculous. They're going to start out like 6-1 or 7-0.
Somebody has to start with the Orioles.
That's fine.
And to be fair, if you think about it, even if this was the start of the season without cancellations, and this was just the regular,
no one knew
day,
the A's were going to just
exactly
implode. Yeah,
nobody knew the A's were going to act. They didn't spend. Not only did they not spend any money, they were pretty much like paying other teams to take their players. Like here's $50 million to take. They took a note out of the book for the Cardinal or the Rockies, but. I mean, it's not the Rays' fault. Like, they're doing what they're supposed to. The Sox started against the Orioles last season to open the season, and then they got swept. So, I mean, the Orioles are capable of winning opening day ball games.
I'm not saying they're not. It's just it must be nice for the Rays to just slide on into first place without any real adversity in the first week.
So the Rays started 3-0. Orioles 0-3. The only team, by the way, that's still undefeated, which you should be. Orioles, the only team that didn't pick up a dub this weekend. Tough look for the O's. The fraud twin. The O's are playing Milwaukee. They're actually looks like they're playing right now. Yikes! Which
it's today. No, when I saw something on MLB Central, they're gonna do a big ceremony for Camden Yards. It's like a big anniversary for Camden Yards.
30 years. Yep.
When is that? That's not today.
It's their opening day today. Yeah.
They're at home.
Damn. Yep.
I would have liked to see that. I guess I'll just watch highlights from it. Still cool though. Still cool. Beautiful ballpark. Highly recommended if you're ever in that area.
Absolutely. The Fraud Twins are in last place where they should be. The Fraud Angels are in last place where they should be. I don't know. Start of the season, opening weekend, all things are looking up for old KC. I told you this would happen. Angels are frauds. 1-3 to start the year. Twins 1-2. The Red Sox 1-2. But anyway, the Astros off to a solid start. The Mariners 2-1. I can't wait to come out with my "If the postseason started today" graphic.
I hate that.
It's become an annual thing. Like at the end of the first week.
I get it, but I hate it.
I love it. I love seeing people have yet to catch on to the joke.
Yeah.
I post the graphic and they're like, dude, are you serious, bro? Come on, bro. Like, it's been what, a week? Yes, that's.
Should we just do it a weekly thing? Are you just gonna have it as a weekly thing?
No, because it loses its charm after the first week. It's like you get halfway through the season.
Maybe a monthly thing? A monthly.
Maybe. We'll see.
Dodgers.
Bro, the postseason started today. Dodgers are on the outside looking in.
Uh-oh.
I mean, they have a -4 run differential. I know we're big run differential guys on this podcast.
Love that.
As of last year, we're big run differential guys.
Love that.
So they're looking at -4. The Padres +9.
Speaking of Padres, you saw Manaea come out and just ball out 7 strong.
Yeah, back-to-back nights of their starters going no-hit ball. If I remember correctly, Manaea and Yu Darvish. So you love to see that for the Padres. Any other storylines I'm missing here? The Brewers not looking as sharp as I'm sure the Brewers were hoping to start out. But they'll be fine. My roommate, the one I told you about, my college roommate who was asking where the best place to sit in Yankee Stadium was.
Yeah.
He is just convinced that the Brewers are going to win. Literally, his last text from me, 3:49 this afternoon, he says, "I don't want to hear any lit from you when the Brewers finish with 78 wins. I'm going to say I told you so." And he's convinced the Brewers are just frauds this year. So he's basically taking the approach that we took with the Brewers over the last couple years and applying it to this season. But I'm still convinced that the Brewers...
a little late to the game there, friend. They're a little late.
I think the Brewers will be fine.
I mean, their strong suit is pitching, which it's clear that's the one headline I think we can take from this weekend, is that it's very evident that majority of pitchers just are not there yet. They're just not ready yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So, looking at the rest of the league. Oh, we had the Nats Mets skirmish, which let me just go ahead and say, Pete Alonso, dude, I can't stand the dude. He's becoming one of my I don't want to say most hated players, but he's just
that he bugs you. I don't know why I like it. I just like it.
He's just so unlikable.
He's a goober, but
they said
I don't dislike him. He's just goofy.
He bat flipped that wall scraper on Friday. I think it was Friday night, and then they asked him after the game, because he was rounding the bases, touch home plate, and then he gave like the finger to the mouth, like hushing the crowd or whatever. And they were like, after the game, they're like, Pete, like, what was that all about? Like, was there any reason? Who was that directed to? And he was like, it was directed at the players and the fans of the other team. And then he was like, not the Mets fans, the Nationals fans and the players. And I was like, this is so uncomfortable, dude. You're trying to be such a hardo.
Like breaking it down.
you're explaining to us that you're hushing the Nationals fans. Thank you, because I would have assumed you were talking to the Mets fans. Like, well, actually, now that I think about it, in his defense, they had the whole thumbs down thing last year, so it's very possible maybe he was addressing the Mets fans. But I'm just like, this dude is such a try hard. Like, just go out and mash baseballs and stop trying to be this fake tough guy. Like, you're clearly just a giant teddy bear, and everybody knows that. Stop trying to like.
I see what you're saying. I get your argument.
It irks me so much. But yeah, that Frankie Lindor pitch to the face, that was scary.
That was unfortunate.
That didn't look good.
Yeah.
Squared completely around for the bunt. Not a good place to be. But the Mets, was that a 4-game series?
Yeah.
Mets take 3 of 4.
Yep.
Philly 2-1. Schwarber first AB as a Philly going love to see that. Welcome to Philly, Kyle Schwarber.
Dude.
Castellanos getting one this weekend. At least
Bryce with the buzz, motoring around, losing his helmet on the bases, has to happen at least once a week.
That's just a Bryce thing, man.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys that, like, man crush wise, I'm like, you're a good looking cat, man. Like, long hair, short hair, beard, no beard. I'm like, you're a good looking cat.
He makes it work, man.
Yeah,
he makes it work. Trying to think. Are there any other headlines we're missing? I know.
Dude, I had one. This was cool. This is real cool, man.
What do you got?
Like, it's under the radar for sure. This Stephen Kwan kid for the Guardians, dude.
Let's talk about Stephen Kwan.
Did you see that?
The 6th player since 1901 to record a 5-hit game.
Let's
go.
The
first 3 games of his career. What a guy.
He's currently 8 for 10. I don't know if they played yet today. Have they? I don't know if they've started yet.
I'm not sure.
8 for 10, and then I wrote down 0 swings and misses and 58 pitches seen. My guy got a buzzer or something going.
All right,
the trash can. Stephen Kwan.
Let's not get
8
into
8 for 10 with no swings and misses. That's good for him.
Good for Stephen Kwan. Hey, speaking of buzzer, how do you like this pitch comm thing that we're seeing? They broke it down on the broadcast on Sunday Night Baseball. They had the hat and the buzzer, which you probably didn't see, I'm guessing.
I did not see it. No.
They had the audio on ESPN1, but it's pretty interesting.
I do like it. Now, here's where I'm starting to see where there could be an issue. It's because pitchers are almost too ready to go.
Yeah.
Like they have their pitch before the guy's even settled in the box. And now you have hitters stepping out. We saw that a lot in the Yankees-Red Sox series where hitters were stepping out And the umpire's like, all right, hold on. No, I'm like, well, what's the goal of this? Is it to speed up the game or for an umpire to slow it down because a hitter's not ready? Like, now you're too fast? I like it. I'm a fan of it. I know the Red Sox are one of the few teams that aren't using it. I didn't see what other teams specifically aren't using it yet. But I did like that, like, the Yankees catchers are keeping it on their shin guard, on their knee, and they're just like put the glove over it. So there's literally no camera angle that can see what buttons are being pressed. So like they're like ultimate cautious through it. But I did see that like an issue with the Yankees, they do this like, and I think a lot of stadiums do this. When they're on defense, there's like this big 2-strike, 2-out noise that they make in the stadium to get the crowd going and get loud.
Yeah, it sounds like the world is ending. Yeah, that
like
sound.
The Yankees, like, pitchers are like putting their glove over their ear because they can't hear it. So, and I know that's not the only stadium that does that. There's plenty of stadiums that make noises. The Rays are really bad about it too. So I'm curious to see for those pitchers that are using the ear thing, like, are those sounds going to go away? Are they going to start them later? I don't know.
To your point about these pitchers being ready right away, I want to say it was during the Royals game on Thursday, opening day, and I was watching it on MLB Network, and I want to say it was Harold Reynolds. I may be mistaken. It may have been somebody else. But I think they were utilizing it. One of the teams in that game was utilizing it, I think. And they were talking about how the infielders were shifting before the guy even steps in the box, and how that's just a dead giveaway for where
it's true,
where and or what you're gonna throw.
100%, 100% true.
Like if you shift, you could speak better to this, being in the coaching game still. If you shift,
just pay attention to that. You know that like if it's the shortstop going closer to second base, your right-handed hitter, you know that you're not getting an off-speed pitch. In my mind,
as more likely than not going to be away,
right, exactly,
middle away, like.
But I think that's cool, man. It introduces a new type of issue for this. You're never going to get a perfect thing in this game, and I think that's what's really being noticed about this is that nothing's going to be perfect. There is no such thing as shortening a game to 2.5 hours. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. No matter whatever steps you take, it's not going to happen. There's going to be issues with everything. I like that. I like that it's that kind of thing because there are other guys that have the headset or the earpiece, right? In the field.
Yeah.
You can have a number of guys there.
Yeah, the infielders have it.
Yeah. See, I like that. And then
possibly the outfielders too. I don't think everybody has it, but
I like that you can have different languages. That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's cool because I mean, you have like a cat on the mound that's from the DR. Maybe he's young, hasn't been in the States long, doesn't really speak English quite well yet. You just have that translated real quick for a catcher that may not speak Spanish. Like, that's really smart. That, I think, is probably my favorite part about it.
No, I agree. I'm right there with you. I love that.
I did see an umpire peek. I sent you that picture.
Yeah, dude.
Where an umpire was like peeking over a catcher's shoulder, seeing what he was tapping.
And that's what you said would happen.
I don't see why not. Give one to the umpire. Give an earpiece to the umpire. I don't see why it wouldn't help. They have a better idea of where the zone is and better idea of what this pitch is going to do. They're not going to be surprised. I don't have to pull at that thread again. I just think it's a good idea for the umpire to know. I think it could help.
The last item of discussion I got here, unless you got something else, is these Astro City connectors that just dropped yesterday. Sunday? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yesterday. Well, I think I told you that I saw that they had been leaked on Saturday or something.
Yeah.
But Sunday they were officially released. If I recall, you said you like them. No?
I do. I'm personally not a fan of the numbers on the pants. However, never liked that. Just not my thing. But everything else about them I like.
I'm trying to remember. I'm sure there's fans of teams that had these types of pants that would be able to.
I think the White Sox had them.
Recall, yeah, the White Sox had them, and did the Astros not have them on their throwbacks, or is this just something new that they decided to do? I swear, like, was it in the Nolan days that?
Maybe.
Let me see here.
Maybe. But as far as these City Connect ones, I mean, I put this in the comment section on our post.
Yeah. Sorry, not to interrupt, but they did.
Okay.
See, they had the see if you see them there, they got the star what are those things called? The Starburst unis or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's maybe a tip of cap to that.
Maybe.
Era. Who knows?
Yeah. But the everyone's kind of hating on the jersey just because it's like a little, maybe a little plain. But it's NASA font.
Yeah.
That's the exact font. I think that's a cool subtlety. The same way like the Nationals did the monument like marble.
Yeah.
Their letter. Like it's just a small little thing that the average person may not think about until you really focus on it, which I love. The hats are fire though.
Oh, dude, the hats are sick.
The hats are sick.
And we were talking about it in our group chat, is that maybe if you're in the camp that thinks the unis are a little plain, that maybe that's the element that's missing, where you've got that orbit effect going around the H.
I think it'd been real easy to throw like some type of like a little planet somewhere on there, like for the dot and the I, or like something. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think you either take the route they did or make it just busier altogether. Because I think, like, if you're going to make it busy and go with, like, that orbit effect and put it around Space City, then it's like, all right. But otherwise,
yeah,
sometimes less is more. And in this case, I actually, not going to lie, first initial reaction, I think I like them.
I do too. I really do.
It didn't take you getting me to come around on these ones. I think I'm
There's a lot of haters, dude. People on social media are like just haters.
Well, if I'm being totally honest, from the get-go, when it was announced that these jerseys were going to become a thing, I was, if I remember right, I think I was initially against it, because I'm just like, no, like I don't want to become the NBA. But then they're like, no, it's just going to be very infrequent. Like a weekend here or like a game here or there, and I'm like, okay, like that's cool. I just don't want it to be a thing where we're losing our everyday jerseys to new jersey concepts every weekend.
Yeah, like I don't need any new like weird color scheme for the entire year. Where suddenly the Twins are pink every year.
Yeah, don't need
for
that.
every game. It's like what?
But
I don't know what the NBA is doing with that. That's
I don't either.
Point.
But it's like once I came around to the fact that these are going to become a thing, I'm like, you know what? Like, they're here. They're not going anywhere. So let's just talk about the ones that come up and speculate about the ones that are to come. So in terms of ranking, I don't really know where I put these in relation to the others, but probably
I put them
near the top for sure.
Yeah, I like them a lot. Big old fan.
Those hats are sick, though, dude.
Yeah, I love the hats.
I think they tweeted a picture. The Astros tweeted a picture where they were like announcing their store hour, like their team store hours, and it was a picture of this. I can't remember if it was a girl or a guy, but they just had like they were carrying so much stuff, just like shirts, and they had like 6 or 7 hats in their hands and like hoodies, and I'm like, I wish I had that dough to just drop, but looks like the Houston fans are on board with it. So
yeah, me gusta, big time.
Me gusta. We're pretty deep at this point, so unless you got anything else, we can probably wrap it up. We got I think 2 series finishing up tonight, Monday, or today, I should say, and that'll officially put a cap on the opening weekend series, and then we're gonna get into or also tonight we're getting into the second series of the season. So
yeah,
With that said, unless you got anything else, that's about all I got.
What were your thoughts on the Manfred gifts that were sent out?
Oh yes, how could I forget? Yeah, I had that buried in here. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I didn't hate the move.
I love the move.
I'm like, it. You know, we can sit here. It's easy for us to sit here and just criticize a guy. And more times than not, it's justified because he's just destroying the game.
This was a dub. I think this was a hit. Yeah.
It's like we want a new commissioner. That's not a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
We're obviously not going to get one. That's just not how this works. Like he's in bed with these owners. They're going to keep him around. He's going to stay. So the next best thing that we can do is ask him to follow through on his promises to improve relations with players.
That's what he just did.
That's what he just did. And you can sit there and say, well, they don't need headphones. It's like
it's a gesture.
There's nothing that Rob Manfred could offer these guys that are making millions of dollars. And again, we talked about this at length. Not all of these guys are making that kind of crazy money that you think everyone is.
Yeah.
But it's like, as a gesture, I get it. And then he included that letter with the headphones. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to knock it.
I think you're a hater, again, if you do knock it, because it's just like, what do you want from him? This is what you've been arguing about. This is what you've been criticizing him for, is not being connected with his players. So now he's trying. He's putting in an effort. The letter was pretty long, and it was, thanking the players for being patient with this process and being passionate about wanting to advance the game in many ways. And it's like, this was a W. And good job on Manfred, honestly. So,
I mean, if you have any self-respect, you have to be able to look at a situation like this and acknowledge, like, the dude, whether politically motivated or not, like, he made an initial effort. Like, this is just hopefully the beginning.
Write a little tally on that side, probably the first one in a while, that it's a W and it's a pro. There's a lot of cons, a lot of tallies on the cons, but, like, keep it going. This can't be the last thing. This can't be the only thing you do this year. You got to do something to make sure you crush it come World Series trophy time.
Yeah, you can't have the final thing or the brightest thing on your resume when it's all said and done as gifting headphones to players. Yeah. Like, that can't be the best thing you do in your tenure as Major League Commissioner.
Yeah.
You still got work to do, but it's a start.
That's all you can ask for.
And that is all I have.
Cool. Let's get out of here. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you guys. And as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.